Hi friends, it's Julia. I am here with my December 2022 Christmas Catch-Up Series Embellishment Selection. And as you can see, I am going through some stash and pulling some out and putting it over beside me. Things that I plan to use for Christmas layouts this year for my December Catch-Up Layout a Day series. This bin that I'm working through right now has a ton of pocket page cards. It had my bin of paper flowers in there, poinsettias. It has 6x6 and 4x6 paper pads, any number of things. And so as I am going through here, I am just pulling the things that I think I might use or might want to try and use. And I am not a stickler about using this stuff up to completion. When I'm creating layouts, if I use a little bit of it and put it back, I'm good with that. I have bits and pieces that I have pulled into this kit or into this stash of supplies where I have the least little bit of something left, and I have held on to it because I love it, because that's what I do. If I love something, I hang on to it and use it through the entire thing until I've used up every tiny bit of it. And I think it makes me a Christmas hoarder, if you will. And I'm kind of that way at Christmas time with my ornaments and house decorations. If I love them, I hang on to them year after year. If they're shattered, yeah, they go in the trash. If my kids want them, yes, they get them. Do I bring new stuff in? Absolutely. My kids all get to take a couple of ornaments home a year, so I'm constantly replenishing the stash. They have the ones that they know they can't choose, the ones that are important or sentimental to my husband and I, and so they don't take those home with them, but they do have free reign on taking anything else. And that's kind of what I'm doing here, is I'm giving myself free reign to pull out anything and everything that I think I might want to use. Whether or not I use it, that's still up in the air, but I'm pulling it out for the just in case. If you've ever watched my videos when I create my counterfeit kit challenge kits, that's one of the things that I do. I always pull an overabundance of embellishments. And when I kill a kit, I always think to myself, if I have cut into every sheet of paper that I have put into the kit, then I feel like I have killed the kit, regardless of how many embellishments are going back into my stash. Because my embellishments, especially with Christmas, are primarily red, gold, and green, they go from one year to the next, to the next, to the next. I do have some different shades of blue that I have been working at pulling and using for years, and some of those may be pulled out this go around. I don't know yet. But a lot of this stuff will go right back into my stash if I don't use it this year. And I'm okay with that. I see a lot of people who clean their Christmas stash out after every year because they get new stuff the next year. And I just can't bring myself to do it. I hang on to it. Anywho, so this is a drawer that I have emptied several of my smaller size baskets into already. But it is so full of supplies that it won't hold anymore. And so one of my tasks this year for Christmas is to use up supplies so that they don't have to go back into my stash. Now, I will tell you that I have a few various packages that have just a tiny amount left in them, whether it be bling or Christmas embellishments of some sort that has very minimal in it. And so my goal is to get those packages used up so that those packages don't have to go back into my stash. Anywho, so you can see a lot of the newer Felicity Jane bits and pieces that I had brought into my stash this year. They're all staying in there. I didn't pull any of them out to use for Christmas this year. Same with my Freckled Fawn. I did not pull any of that, and same with my Close to My Heart. I did not pull any of that. So all of that stuff will live on in my stash, and if I choose to pull some out later, that's okay. I can always work with it at a later point. But I'm focusing on some older supplies this year. And I think you can tell I have tons and tons of embellishments pulled there. So next up, I'm going to pull out my bling drawer. Now this one isn't specifically Christmas related. It's just my general bling drawer. I have everything. I have small bits. I have large bits. I have enamel dots, bling, like flatback pearls. I have crystals. I have any and everything in there that qualifies in my brain as being bling. This is where I house it. And so I'm pulling out anything and everything that I think might work. Now I did pull out multiples of certain colors, and then I ended up putting back like the second or third package that I pulled, because it's like, okay, if I have all of this in here, it might limit me on using up some of my smaller packages. So let me just leave the extra packages in my stash, and then if I need to, I can always go back and pull that in. So I did sort through the bling and put some of it back to go back into my stash. Yeah, I had a friend offer this year. She was working at a scrapbook convention at a store that sold bling, and she offered to get me some, purchase some for me at, whatever discount she received. And I had to tell her, I had to send her pictures of my bling drawer and how tightly packed it was, and say there's no possible way. One of my goals is to live within my space. And because I had all of my Christmas on the top of my closet, and it was starting to get fairly heavy to bring up and down, as far as all the embellishments go, I felt like I really needed to condense that and bring it down to a larger drawer and a larger basket down on a bottom shelf that's kind of out of the way, and it's not accessible every single day because my trash can sits in front of it. But at Christmas time, I can pull those out and easily access them and pull out what I need. But in this process, you can see I'm pulling everything out that I think I might need. I have probably way overpulled when you look at it at the end and see how much I have, but I like to have options available to me. And I think that's one of the things that I love about kit scrapbooking. When I create a kit every month, when I purchase a kit, it has some stuff in there, but it's never enough for me. I want to have more choices. And so I always add to and I beef up those kits. And so when I am making the kits that I make every month, that's what I do. I add to those kits until I am overflowing with embellishments. And I love being able to do that because, it really gives me a lot of options that are more narrowed down and not my entire scrapbooking room. Does that make any sense to you guys? And that's one of the things in doing this project like this and pulling out these bling selections, is that it narrowed my choices down for bling, but it still leaves me a whole lot of selections. Now that's just a kit that I had down in my bins that I purchased this last year on a clearance sale, and so I'm going to leave it all together, and I might use it as a page kit, and then again I might not, but I'm leaving it there. These are all the things that I set aside when I was going through my my paper bins, pulling paper. Any of the chipboard or specialty papers or anything that I thought caught my eye in those bins, I pulled it out, the bigger pieces, whether it be cut apart sheets or border strip sheets or whatever the case may be. I pulled it out so that I would have access to it in order to use it along with the papers and the embellishments that I have pulled. I even have a bag full of scraps there. I actually had a couple of those that I pulled in, and you can see I have a lot of stash that I have pulled for this, and I will have, I'll show you here in a little bit a setup on another layout, and then there's all my paper selections, and I am ready to go, y'all.